First thing before we start this video, spoilers. Hence why the thumbnail wasn't clickbait. We're not gonna have pictures. It's spoilers, okay? Today we're gonna discuss to you spoilers on Spider-Man No Way Home. Is a spoilers, theories, discussion. My bad if I botched it, Shadow, but yes, spoilers, theories. We're gonna discuss that on Spider-Man No Way Home. Very in-depth. Shadow's a brilliant mind when it comes to this, and I'm pretty good at it as well. So we're gonna break it down really good so JC can fit his game. Shadow Ninja, Lord Shadow Ninja, here today. Spoilers.
Yes, spoilers. Spoilers.
Spoilers.
If you haven't got the message, spoilers. And if you don't care, stick around. But you should care. Go watch this movie in theaters as soon as you can.
I don't know if we're gonna put pictures up or something. I don't know.
No, we don't have to.
So, all right, so
basic impressions.
Into it, man.
Basic impressions.
Lead the way.
Well, me and you have not talked about it in depth for this one reason. Save it to here. But the basic impressions is that Endgame was the most exciting movie. I left the theater feeling like, damn, that was a payoff. Damn, that was this. And this movie blew that out the water by like 200,000 times. I walked out the movie theater numb, literally physically numb, and I was unsure what I was feeling. It wasn't negative, I'm unsure, but it was numb of like, did I just watch what we just watched? Because even though there was a few things I've seen before the week this movie released, I was shocked through and throughout. We're not going to go into specific scenes yet, but my basic impressions, this is probably my favorite Spider-Man movie of all time. It beat Into the Spider-Verse for me. It beat Spider-Man 2. MCU-wise, if we're going to compare this as a solo movie and we're going to take out the Avengers movies, which I think is fair to do, it's better than Winter Soldier for me. It's better than Guardians. It's better than Far From Home. This movie is outstanding, and I can't believe they did it. So that's just my basic impressions.
I think it's the best movie I've ever seen. So that's all I gotta leave it. I don't gotta say anything. I don't need to. That's it. Like, I want to see it.
Blockbuster wise, if we're talking superheroes, yeah, this is the best movie I've ever seen prior to. Like, I wish I wasn't sugarcoating it. You can say I'm biased because I'm a Spider-Man fan, but this was.
No.
I've standed up, screaming, shouting. I've even smacked my friend across the chest, like, holy shit, that just happened. We were going crazy. It was an experience, and I will never forget. So
it has everything too. The movie has everything, anything and everything. It has everything.
So I think it's fair now to start about our favorite scenes. I'll go with this one. Now, my first favorite scene in this movie, massive spoiler alerts, was when Toby, Andrew, and Tom Holland first met each other. First of all, that was impossible for me to ever imagine. And second of all, the emotional weight that was going on between all of them, I teared up. I teared in the fall. I'll give myself that. But I was very close to tearing up because that was insane. You know, Toby mentioning Uncle Ben. Tom Holland had Aunt May, so that was crazy. I called that one, and I was so shocked at how it happened. Andrew Garfield had Uncle Ben, but he didn't focus on Uncle Ben because it wasn't relevant. He focused on Gwen Stacy, which we see a redemption later. But that's not gonna be one of my favorite scenes, even though it kind of is. I'll leave you some of the cookies for everybody to share. But yeah, him mentioning Gwen Stacy and how he was, Andrew Garfield stole the show.
He did.
Tobey Maguire aged, and you could tell, and it made me a little sad. But like, Andrew Garfield reminds you, like, who's the best in suit Spider-Man, and it's him. Like, he was perfect. Tom Holland's great too. I think Tom Holland's the best overall Spider-Man, but Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man is something else. Another scene that really, really stole me away was the end, and it was when he went into the coffee shop after, like, he wrote this stuff down, telling MJ what happened, everything, and he walked away not telling him anything. He left them alone. That was painful. That caused me to cry because he had everything and he gave it all away. And he put his feelings aside for the greater good. And will we see them again? I don't think so. I think they're done. I don't think we're going to see Ned. We're going to see Zendaya. None of those characters ever again. You know, they were very smart of not giving it Mary Jane Shell Jones. That's what her name was. So if he does run into MJ or he runs into Gwen Stacy, we know what's up. But I do not think we're going to see at all them. Another thing too, this is a little bit of theory, but when Norman was talking about not having Oscorp existing and not having a son, that threw me off. And guess what? Stark Industries took a massive hit in the beginning of this movie. Maybe Oscorp rises. Maybe they're the ones that bought the thing. Maybe this is setting the door for Oscorp to be part of this MCU Spider-Man. Also, there's no implications that he's leaving the MCU technically. So, even though the contract is up with the solo movie and he has one more MCU appearance right now, we have no idea if he's technically disconnected, which it doesn't seem like he is. So that's just two of my favorite scenes. I'll let you pass up with two, and then we'll go back and forth.
Yeah, man, the whole movie could be a favorite scene for me. But I'm big on, and you called this, maybe for some people it's not their favorite scene, but I was big on the Defenders. I'm big on Luke Cage. I'm big on Iron Fist. I'm big on Daredevil.
They're giving you hope. I'll give you that.
So I'm big on them. So when I saw Daredevil, when I saw him,
Charlie Cox, importantly.
I'm a wrestling fan, so there's mark out, right? I never marked off for a movie in my life. Now, I marked out a lot of times in this movie. But when the simple thing of they threw the brick inside the house and he just goes.
He caught it, not Peter. And Peter's like, whoa. I'm a good lawyer. Sure. Sure, you're a good lawyer.
That whole scene, that is one of my favorite scenes. That whole scene there was amazing. And to see him coming into I guess he's going to be in the future, right? You're going to see Daredevil.
So that's his first introduction to the MCU. Kevin Feige said that before this movie, that he is the MCU Daredevil. If we see him, it kind of came on the cusp of spoiler alerts for Hawkeye. Like, mute this for like 15 seconds if you want to see. But yeah, Kingpin, Vincent D'Onofrio from Netflix. He's in it. They showcase that this week. A picture of him. So this week we'll see an episode of him. So maybe you get Luke Cage returning. I don't see why not. I don't see why not Jessica Jones either. Iron Fist, I don't think they'll bring him back. I don't think he landed that well with everybody.
Yeah, Luke Cage either.
Maybe Luke Cage, maybe not. It depends on what their plans are for the smaller things. Yeah. Jessica Jones is rumored, so that's potentially
anything's possible after what we just saw.
Oh yeah,
so,
anything.
That's one of my favorite scenes. Then if I have to have a second favorite scene, I have weird favorite scenes. I'm obviously anyone's favorite scene is gonna be when you see Andrew Garfield come in, when he opens the portal and he comes in. Like, oh my God. Not gonna say that. I don't want to be a traditional. I want to talk about when Doc Ock starts to talk, saying that he's fighting a ghost. That hit me deep. I was like, oh man. So that's a favorite scene to me.
There's only one thing. There's only one nitpicky thing about that scene though that kind of irked me, but it kind of clarifies because it's not really. They don't really explain that whole angle with Harry Osborn, why he was mad at Spider-Man. So, he held a grudge till Spider-Man 3 for some fucking weird reason. The waiter was never telling him what happened. But it was kind of weird him seeing that he knew Osborn as Green Goblin, not just as a scientist. So that was like expanding those movies a little bit. And then on top of that, it was like, it kind of confused me. It was like, wait, so like everyone knew Norman Osborn was the Green Goblin. So wait, why was Harry so confused? But then the more I think about it again, maybe it was just the fact that he still holds Spider-Man guilty of killing him. But one thing about that scene you mentioned, and it's not really my favorite scene, but it was an interesting thing of like Norman dying was a weight on Tobey's Spider-Man. Like, he said he's always been thinking about just what if he cured him. I was like, wait, what? Like that's kind of crazy. It's something you didn't think he paid mind to, but it really ate in, and then it makes you think about what other deaths did eat into him. Like, obviously Dr. Octavius ate into him, so... That's your second favorite scene, you said?
I'd say it's a deep scene. And they're all talking. Jamie Foxx is like, oh, I wasn't going to die or whatever. And then he was like, wait a minute.
Yeah, he was hilarious.
But it was just like they realized the only one that didn't die was Lizard and Flint Marko, Sandman. Those two, right?
Did an impressive job of introducing one of my worries is how are these people that left off with good terms with Spider-Man going to react going in here? And he was the biggest question mark. He was fighting for Peter, but the reason why he's fighting against him, he doesn't know what's going on. He thinks he's gonna die. But that was a great introduction. He's like, Peter,
I found that cool.
I was like,
Yes.
oh shit.
Dude, when I saw when he put he had like a barrier over him, everyone was like, "Oh shit, he's helping him out!" Like,
Yeah.
I was like, when I heard his voice, amazing voice. I don't know that actor's name, but I've seen him in so many movies.
Yeah,
He's in a lot of.
He was surprising to see that they actually brought him back. I don't know how they did
They
it.
used him.
They used him.
A lot.
They could have used him in different techniques, but they used him.
Yeah.
And they definitely used his voice.
So-
But one of my favorite scenes, minor favorite scene, I'm not gonna count this as one, Elektra's appearance, because we hear that dun dun. I was like,
you hear the I am Electro. I think it's called I am Electro. Actually,
yeah.
That's what it's called.
Or my enemy, one of those two things.
Something like that.
It was one of those two
but
songs, but
that is a badass scene. Actually, that was a cool scene too. But yeah, overall, like mine, it was deep. It's a deep scene. Like that's a scene you watch, like damn, like it hits you, man. I mean, of course, me drove a lot on the Cross Bronx Expressway. So when I saw that scene, oh shit, I was there. Like I was like, that's one of the coolest scenes too. Doc Ock. To see like, I don't know if it was just my theater, but whenever a car exploded, like I felt it. Like I felt, I guess, the IMAX.
You saw an IMAX, right?
Yeah.
Was it like with laser or was it like just a regular IMAX? You don't know, right?
That was regular. It was regular IMAX.
Yeah, mine was IMAX with laser, but
that's a great scene too. And then when the Green Goblin comes out, oh my god, you hear his laugh and come out. That's it. So yes, those are my three scenes. I could say when you know that Andrew Garfield comes, Tobey Maguire, I could say that, but I'm not. So,
but so the one thing I gotta say, this might be a little cliche. By far, one of my favorite scenes. Well, two in the final fight scene. First one was the teamwork at the end, the unified swinging. That was insane. I did not believe was real. I thought I was not seeing something like that. That was entirely fake. Like I'm still convinced I didn't see that. I gotta watch the movie again to believe that I actually saw that. And then second one that made me get really like this one got me too. Toby and Dr. Octavius having a conversation. And when he said, "Oh, how you been?" and then Toby thought, and he said the line from 2, "I'm trying to be better." And you're like, "Fuck, wow." How old am I? Why am I
that
crying?
hurt me.
Yeah.
Yes, Tobey Maguire he almost died. I was gonna cry if he would have died.
Dr. Octavius also had the best. Like he was something that at first he was confused because they did a good job of introducing this version. This version was at the point when he's holding Toby. Toby didn't turn him yet, and he got taken. So that Spider-Man is probably confused as hell. But 2, it was like okay, he still had the anger towards him, and then Tom Holland Spider-Man beat him in like some clever way. Like some legit clever way with the Stark Tech.
Yes, the nanotechnology.
Yes.
Like nanotech.
Yes. That was clever.
That was genius.
But I think like we can pick so many favorite scenes. But I think the one overarching thing that was most impressive scene wise is the conclusion of each Spider-Man with their villain. That was something I was not expecting. Like we saw even Green Goblin and Toby's Spider-Man have resolution. That's something I never thought I'll see walking into the theater. That version of Dr. Octavius saw, Peter grow up to be the man he is, and you're like, wow, that hurt. Sandman, Peter, like, I wish Spider-Man 3 focused more on Sandman and Spider-Man because that was good. Like, Sandman wasn't a bad guy, he was a good guy. He was just trying his best. So, Electro got even redemption, and he even dropped the Miles hint for us of like, oh, maybe in another universe there's a Black Superman. I'm like, oh, okay, that's what's up. And then Lizard, like, that was all great. I'm surprised the one thing you didn't pick was fucking Green Goblin going all Batista in it.
The power bombs.
Hold on.
I'm out.
Hold on, I'm doing something. No, not anymore. Sorry about that. I'll probably edit that.
Yeah. All right. So the Green Goblin, the Batista bombs, the power bombs, and Happy's condo. Yeah, that was great. I mean,
dude, we've never seen Goblin move like that.
Never.
Never seen him move like that.
I think it's safe to say he was the best villain. I mean, I said he was going to be the best one. He's superhuman power. This was a bitch. Green Goblin he's scary, man. He's scary.
I mean, also too, you kind of forget that Green Goblin can go toe to toe with Spider-Man, and they showcased that in this movie. Like he wasn't just like he was taking the punches and he was laughing. Like that was more intimidating than anything Joker's ever done.
It was scary. I mean, and also without the mask, with the hoodie on.
Oh, like that's the full shine.
That's his movie. He has to get an award. He needs to get an award. He's got everyone in this. I mean,
I honestly, like if you had to do a supporting actress nomination from this movie, no, you got to give it to William Dafoe.
Oh, supporting. I think you said actress.
Actress. Oh, I said actress, actor. I didn't mean to say actress, okay. But supporting actress, it's by far William Dafoe, and I think there is a case for him to be nominated. Like, and I'm really harsh about blockbusters and things getting nominations. Like when Black Panther got nominated for Best Picture, I was a little upset because I thought Logan should have. But yeah, like there's a legitimate case for this dude to get a supporting actor nomination, and there is a massive case for Tom Holland to get a Best Actor nomination. They don't have to win it, but even being nominated is still impressive, especially like if you're gonna say who's gonna win Best Actor this year, I think it's gonna be Andrew Garfield, but it's not gonna be for Spider-Man. Obviously, it's gonna be a movie that Tick Tick Boom. But yeah, like there is massive.
He did good.
There was
good Spider-Man. Though.
But that whole thing, and that was such a cool sequence too. Like we see the expanded version of the Spidey sense. He was able to sense something was wrong with one of them.
Yeah, with all. Yeah.
And then William Dafoe's like Peter, and you're like, oh, this fucking guy.
That scene, my heart sank in that scene. I was like, what is going on?
Everything
is just like
the one thing I feel like they did a pivot correction with Green Goblin, which I didn't really care for. It was something that kind of threw me off at first. Was that we said it in the last one, like Spider-Man 1 seemed like it was a unified person. It wasn't split personality. And this one, it was split personality. Then it became unified, and then they cured him. So
yeah,
I was a little confused. It was a little because I thought they kind of set it up as he was just always evil. But I guess in this movie, they wanted to pivot a little away from that, which I'm fine with. I think it fills in the tone. Again, it's not a complaint. It's just something I noticed. I was like, that was a little bit weird because it wasn't like that. At least implied in the first one. You've seen him.
Yeah. But it was.
Talk about that bridge fight though with Doc Ock and him.
That might be the subway fight.
That bridge fight might have topped the subway. There's different components to the subway fight. This is the whole thing of swinging, the building, the ding. That fight's obviously a little bit more expanded, and it wasn't as, this is a much quicker fight than that. But the dialogue, oh, you want to play games? I should have killed your girlfriend when I had the chance. I was like, what? And Peter was like, wait, what'd you just say? And then he started going actually at it. You're like that was a legit fight. And I was like, bro, yeah. Dr. Octavius yeeting cars, and like CGI does wonders for him.
This movie made Doc Ock look like because Spider-Man 2 he was great. We made him like really, I don't know, like no, he was.
I have no complaints. I have no complaints, but it was just like you see like an expanded version of him. And you're like, whoa.
He seemed powerful. He seemed more powerful in the other movie.
Updated technology really does wonder of making a character look cool.
That was cool. It was cool to see him. Of course, was it Hey Peter, hello Peter Parker always.
He's like hello Peter.
Hello Peter. There we go. That right there. Everyone, we were all waiting for that scene.
Yeah.
We saw it was on the bridge. We knew what was coming. That's what made it so cool too. And
one thing was shocking was how quick it got up to that moment. I timed it. It was like 30 minutes.
Like 30 minutes into it?
It was like 30 minutes, and then banned her off. I'm like, wait, what? Oh, we could also talk about how Spider-Man beat Doctor Strange. I didn't think that was possible.
With math.
Yeah.
Math.
And it's funny is that I thought about it. I was like, actually, that makes sense. Geometry in a mirror dimension. That actually makes sense because it's a mirror dimension. You just got to figure it out, and then bam. I mean, the equations he did in first, and I probably can't do that right off the bat, but when he said math, I was like, I never thought of it like that. But that was clever.
Doctor Strange. Now that you mentioned him, man, he was great in this movie.
I
became a Doctor
I got a
Strange
question.
fan.
You've seen Ragnarok a good bit. You probably remember this more recent than me. How long was Loki falling for?
How long was Loki falling for?
Yeah, in the movie. How many hours? Was it hours? Because if anything, he got karma back.
No. He got what?
He got karma back for doing that shit to Loki. Because I forget how long he was falling.
I thought it was longer.
I thought it was 12 hours. Like I thought it was similar time.
I wouldn't. Could be.
If I find out, I'll put it just posted somewhere randomly in this video that how long Loki was falling. But yeah, like if anything, he got karma back for that incident.
Yeah, he got stuck in the dimension. That was a cool battle. It was a cool battle. I mean, Doctor Strange. I like him a lot now. Actually, this movie did it for me. There was a lot of funny scenes between him and Peter. He was like, don't call me sir. All right, Steven. Like,
yeah. and then he like realized that you never called him missions, and you're like, wait, what? And even I was confused. I was like, wait, you could call?
You're gonna make me cast this spell and you haven't called it.
You didn't even call? Like, you're like, wait, I didn't know you can do that. I just learned something myself.
I was laughing that scene. That was hilarious. That was great. Casting the spell. It's Doctor Strange is badass. This movie elevated him. I feel like he's gonna be like, there's Tony Stark. Do you think he's the next Tony? No. Like, if there's a new Avengers, is he like the guy?
Well, nobody knows Peter anymore, which is crazy.
Yeah.
So
they know Spider-Man. Can he just go to Happy Morgan, right? Or Happy Morgan, right?
The learning the identity of Spider-Man puts you in jeopardy. It's not knowing Spider-Man; it's knowing the identity of Spider-Man.
But like, he could just be like, "Hey, look, I can do this. Like, I'm Spider-Man," and he's back. They're like, "Okay, this guy, no."
But they don't remember. I mean, I think
they know Spider-Man, right?
I would assume so, but they don't know Peter Parker. I just think that. But the thing is, how are you going to convince him of all the things? Because remember, like, it wasn't just Spider-Man. It wasn't a dude in a mask. It was Peter Parker helping them out. So I still think that's pretty substantial.
This is the thing. Doctor Strange, right? Maybe, I don't know if I remember this, but in the credits, didn't Wong say, "I told you not to cast that spell"?
No, that was a replay of Far From Home, a No Way Home, leading into that trailer. Yeah, it wasn't new dialogue.
So Doctor Strange and Wong, they know Peter Parker for sure.
Yeah, I don't think they know, because even Doctor Strange at the end was like, "It was a pleasure knowing you," and he even shed a tear. I was like, whoa, got Doctor Strange over here emotional.
Yeah.
But
damn, man.
Who did you see in that silhouette when they were all coming through? I saw 3 people. First off, I saw Kraven.
I saw a big ass.
I saw Kraven.
You saw Kraven?
I saw Kraven. He was a dude with the stick and the fur coat. I saw Kraven. Then next to him yes, he was easy to stand out. I saw Kraven. I remember seeing Kraven, and then I saw Scorpion.
Not the head. That was the big head, right?
It was behind. It was behind him, and then the next one, a big bulky dude, was the OG Rhino, not Mecha Suit Rhino. We're talking mutated Rhino. Yeah. So the big dude you're talking about was Rhino.
How do we get that?
It's all the universes. Anyone who knows Peter Parker Spider-Man. That's what it was. So even though we haven't seen any of that.
So they're still in. Wait.
They were. Yeah. So it was different universes that these villains know who Peter Parker was. That's because the spell was botched, and that's who was coming through. Everyone who knew what Peter Parker was. So I'm guessing in what universe Rhino knows. But again, the fact that they were willing to show these villains gives me like, yo, I would not be against seeing Kraven. I would not be against seeing Scorpion. Definitely not against seeing fucking Rhino.
I wouldn't want to see them in a movie like by themselves.
Also, spoilers for Hawkeye. Skip ahead 30 seconds. But Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin going up against this Spider-Man, it's entirely possible now. And it's in the realm of realism of like Spider-Man's back to being a small level character in New York City. Dealing with organized crime, dealing with Kingpin is entirely possible.
What do you have to say about the new suit?
I wish we saw more of it, but it was cool. From what I saw, it looked like a thing like saying thank you to Toby and Andrew. It looked like a combination of their suit.
It did. It looked. You're right. That's what it could have possibly been. So that's what we're gonna see then. It's a whole new. I feel like
he also wasn't using Stark Tech, which is kind of sad. That was sad.
It was. It's everything's different. Even him in a small room, everything was just different by himself. The GED manual, like this is a brilliant guy. Like this guy's gonna go to MIT, and Peter Parker, he has a GED. Man, he's studying for the GED. But
yeah, but I think he's gonna go to Manhattan, like the Manhattan High School, Manhattan Tech College. So I wonder if you'll meet like Dr. Connors and stuff. Like, wait,
in his world, oh man. We're gonna see something, I think. I mean, I think that pretty much what I'm taking everything is like an origin story. We saw a long origin story, and now we're gonna see.
It's funny because you thought, yeah, we thought we saw Spider-Man become Spider-Man, but no, this whole trilogy was Spider-Man becoming Spider-Man. You're like, oh, that was a payoff.
Some long-term storytelling for sure.
You had 3 solo movies, 3 MCU movies. Civil War, we get introduced to him, then Homecoming, then Infinity War and Endgame, and then Far From Home, now No Way Home. That's a massive payoff. And we can talk about how Kevin Feige's already confirmed that Marvel Studios and Sony, they're in early active development for Spider-Man 4. So that's good news because technically that's not on contractual notes. Like technically on paper they're not supposed to be working on it, but I guess they don't care. I know Kevin Feige said that he doesn't want to do that to the fans again, so it seems like Marvel Studios is going out of the way and they're working with Spider-Man and Sony to get their stuff together. I mean, that's good news. I'm just confused of like, it's not on paper. So
I think we're gonna see like 3 more Spider-Man movies.
He didn't leave the MCU. He's still in that universe. No. It's like they're committed to having him there. There's no way they can just take him out. Now, Kevin Feige said he's the only person that could jump between cinematic universes. Let's see what they do with Morbius. Let's see what they do. I think we might see Andrew Garfield come back as Spider-Man for these universe movies. I don't know, man. He said a line when he was telling Tom.
What he said?
When he was talking about the rage and how he at one point he stopped pulling back the punches. And if you look in the Morbius trailer, there's the image of Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, granted, but it says murderer. Maybe Andrew Garfield's...
That's right.
Maybe Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man killed some people. Maybe they only switched the poster to confuse us, but in reality, it's going to be Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man we're going to be seeing. The dude had a blast, and the dude nailed it. If I don't see more of this guy, I'm going to be a little upset, even though I love Tom.
Are they going to continue to do multiverse? I mean, it's possible.
They're already doing Miles Morales with his animated stuff. They already have Tom Holland at the same time. They just did a movie with 3 Spider-Man in it.
We still have Miles Morales in Tom Holland's universe.
Yeah, there was the nephew reference, and we know that's Miles. Yeah. Like it's not impossible. You know what I'm saying? At this point, with all these different multiversal stuff, it is not out the realm of possibility that we see multiple Spider-Man.
Gosh, it's pleasing. It's pleasing that we're being treated like this. When I came home, I'm like, man, they really
did that.
They really have all of this. Like, we got spoiled.
Yeah. I'd never walked out of a movie theater being so numb before.
I've seen movies multiple times in theaters, and this is one that I am gonna see multiple times.
I already got tickets for Wednesday.
Oh damn!
I had to. Boy was like, yo, he's gonna go see with his parents and his sister. I was like, you know what, you can come. You guys, it's a thing. I'm like, buy tickets. It's overall. I'm like, okay.
I have to see it again. I mean, it's. What do you think we're missing? I mean, did we cover a lot of things?
We talked a lot. They can talk about endless amount of stuff, but yeah, like, you know what's crazy too? At one point, I really felt for Norman and his relationship with this version of Peter Parker. They were working together, him and like Electro was great too.
Electro was pretty sinister. It was like, I like you the old way or something. That was cool.
Yeah.
You know. I like Electro in this movie. I like Electro in this movie a lot. Even though it was more like Jamie Foxx.
Yeah, it was a little bit more Jamie Foxx, but it was definitely like it made more sense, and they gave more sense to it. Like he just feels the powers better in this universe, and he's just a better person. Like better, just feels better. So I was like, you know what? I'm fine with that. He loved the arc reactor, I'll tell you that.
He did.
He's going. He was a very, very, very hard dude when that was around. But no, I mean, I'll tell you this: they almost got me about May. I thought she was actually gonna live. They sold it
I knew
well.
something was off, man.
No, I know.
Yeah.
When she got impaled, I knew she was done. I knew she was dead. But she got up and she was with Peter. I'm like, it was a very slow scene, but it needed to be.
That hurts.
And then she
That
said
hurts.
the line, and you're like, damn. Also, I know it's cliche. Everyone's probably talking about this, but Andrew Garfield coming in and his introduction blew my theater out the water.
Oh, mine too.
Like,
That was
I was smacking my boy. We were smacking each other. Like, just to
when
make
he
sure this was real.
running. He was running. Everybody was like, "Oh!" You hear the roars.
You're like, wait,
started.
what?
It
Whoa,
started.
whoa.
It
And the
just
thing is,
started.
like, we all heard the leaks. We all believed they were in this movie, and it still got us. But yeah, he came in and he's like, whoa, I'm Peter Parker. And he's talking about, like, you know, multiverses. He was picking it up like he was in a different universe, which is credit to his Spider-Man. But then he was like hanging on the wall like that. He's like,
that was hilarious.
what more do I need to show?
Cobweb.
Yeah, what more do I need to show you? And then he was crying. And then it's I kind of found it messed up that the grandma was upset at Andrew, like screaming and throwing stuff at him. But the you know, fucking Toby comes in and he's peaceful. Like, yeah. So, and again, Andrew had a great introduction. I thought it's, you know, it's funny. One thing that was really, really upsetting for me was when Toby came in and he just looked old. You're like, fuck, that hurt.
Makes us all feel old. That's the guy we grew up watching. It was,
And
a little bit.
one of the concerns I did have with this movie as well, and I'm glad it didn't happen. Like, I don't know how it didn't happen. Credit to Tobey Maguire, credit to John Watts, credit to Andrew Garfield and Tom Holland. But out of all the Spider-Man, he was the one I felt that was the most different, the most outcasted in terms of how he is Spider-Man. But he fit perfectly. He was the big brother. Andrew was the middle brother. Tom was the young brother.
Mm-hmm.
And that dynamic was incredible. Oh, how are we going to walk away and not talk about the organic web shooter conversation?
Oh,
Both
yeah.
of them. Andrew Garfield's reaction to when he just shot out of resistance, he was like, oh, whoa. Like, he like jumped and everything. Even Tom was like, whoa. Like, and it's funny is that, like, it was always a meme. Oh, you caught the pointing meme, right? When they're in the lab, that was great too.
That was awesome.
I did feel bad though for Andrew Garfield when they're talking about the villains they fought, and, like, you know, Tom Holland flexed like, you know, I fought an alien on Earth and in space. And Toby's like, wait, I'm just confused that I'm just like, wait, you in space? And then Andrew's like, I faced a Russian dude in a rhino suit, and he's like, I'm like lame. And then Toby's like, no, you're not lame. You're not lame. Don't say that. It's like, what the hell? What's going on right now? Like, that whole banter is one of the few times in a movie where you can say, yo, they could have cut that out. But some of the stuff you just can't cut out because it's just so integral to their characters. Like, you need these dumb banter conversations to occur to make it more whole.
Honest, like, I don't want to brag, but I was in the Avengers.
And then Toby was like, wait, like, cool. What is that? And you're like, wait, you guys don't have the Avengers and thing. And then Andrew's like, wait, are you in a band? And you're like, and then for some reason, when I keep thinking about that scene, when he says, were you in a band? I keep on thinking of Eminem and D12 of My Band, the song. There's no context of, like, no thing, but it's just for some reason I feel like it's just he's the lead singer of his band for some dumb reason. And then Toby was like, why? Tell me why it's relevant. And he's like, oh, because, you know, like, and they were honest. They're not good at working with other people. That's the advantage that Tom Holland has over them, is that he's worked with the Avengers. So that was a neat trick. Again, I mentioned this before, but when they were swinging together, that was the most incredible piece of cinematography ever in a blockbuster superhero movie.
Gotta see that again.
I feel like I didn't see the whole scene because I was just so shocked I was watching that. Like, when Tom Holland's, like, I don't know who swung onto who, but at one point Tom had the thing and he got both of them, or I guess they both shot a web at him, and then he tossed them up and then he followed up.
Oh, I know.
It was insane. And then that's when you see Toby land, then Andrew land, and then Tom land. And then you're like, these motherfuckers did cut that out. We weren't crazy.
You know what's badass? When you see them, when they find Tom Holland Spider-Man, when they find him in the rooftop, and you see like in
Oh,
in
the
the
silhouette,
shadows,
the silhouette.
yeah, the silhouette, yeah, you see Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man just like like post up in a pose,
And you know
and
what's
then
funny too? When Andrew questioned him, like, are you just gonna go out as like a hip uncle or some shit like that?
and he was like,
He was like, nah. He was like, I was like, like he does
no, it
always have
wasn't
it.
hip. I thought it was a youth pastor.
Oh yeah, like a youth. Yeah, some like crazy thing. And I'm pretty sure he was like a priest or some shit in like, but in a movie, or that could have been like the parody movie of him of
That was a parody of Tropic Thunder.
Yeah. Like, was that a reference to Tropic Thunder? I was confused. I feel like it could have, but
Could have. Damn.
it could have.
And Robert. That's with Tony Stark too.
Yeah, that's with Robert Downey Jr. It could really be a Tropic Thunder reference. Andrew Garfield just dropped on us.
It could have been. It could have been. Damn, man, they did so much as attached to this movie. It's insane.
Yeah, when fucking Tom was about to kill Green Goblin, he was not holding back, and I was really like, damn, this dude had like. You kind of like, it's one of those details of superhero movies you kind of forget until it gets brought up, of like a hero holding back his strength. Like, we've seen heroes not hold back their strength. Like, for example, off topic, like Man of Steel. Superman was just becoming Superman. He was Superman for like one day and had to fight an alien army from his homeworld that were just as strong as him with military tech. Like, like he can't obviously hold back his strength. But the fact of like, that's kind of like something that we haven't, I don't think, seen in the MCU like this, of like, it's kind of mentioned of like, yeah, like this guy's really strong, but he doesn't punch people with the strongest force. Like, that's a detail of Spider-Man as a whole. Whether you're playing a game, whether you're reading a comic, you just kind of forget, and it's kind of refreshing that they brought it up. And you hear it when he's fighting on the shield, the fallen shield with Green Goblin. He punches the metal, and it moves. That's a big chunk of metal he just dented in. He picked up the glider and went to go stab him. And what was so crazy was the fact that you look in there, you're like, bro, and Tobey stopped him. Tobey stopped that happening.
I thought he was gonna die.
Yeah, and then he got impaled, and you're like, oh shit, is he gonna die? But he didn't, and I'm actually glad he didn't. I thought he was going to. I was fearful of that happening, but yeah, I mean, he got stabbed. He's been stabbed plenty of times, and it just laughs like, oh, this guy is so fucking old. And I love how they made a joke of his bad back in Spider-Man.
Yes.
Like, he actually had Tobey Maguire actually had serious back problems because of Spider-Man. I don't know, maybe it was the stunts or stuff. Like, he legitly had
his own stunts, yeah.
Yeah, it was something with the production of the movie where he actually had his back was killing him. That's why he didn't want to do the movies anymore or something like that. But that's why in Spider-Man 2, remember when he's like trying to be Spider-Man again and he hits the fucking car and he's like, my back. That was meant to be a fun joke to him just being able to complain about his back. In the movie,
and I caught on. We saw the movie recently, so everything was brand. It was like refreshed for me. I was like, okay.
But like, it was funny that they kind of made it, and you're like, yeah, like Toby's for just being Spider-Man so long, his mid back really kills him, and he cracked his back, and he's like, oh, and then Andrew's like, yeah, I feel a little bit coming, and then like he's stretching. I guess so. It's like an old Peter B. Parker vibes from fucking Into the Spider-Verse. It was also nice. Yeah, it was also very, very interesting to see the Gwen Stacy stuff of like Toby and Andrew having that conversation of like, you just keep trying, there's someone out there, and you're like, wow. Like, part of it was kind of closure for that moment we never got, because obviously in the Amazing Spider-Man 3 they were going to introduce MJ. Well, they're going to introduce MJ in Amazing Spider-Man 2, but they were just going to meet. They weren't going to actually have like a thing. So that was something that got cut, and then something we're going to see later, but we never saw it because the movie never happened. But yeah, it was this whole movie was kind of a closing chapter for all trilogies. And it just left me feeling numb, like, holy fuck. Toby, he got the closure. And I didn't know he needed closure. Andrew got the closure he much deserved. Especially when he saved MJ and he was like crying, and you felt that. You felt that. And I loved how he didn't web her. He grabbed her and then webbed and grabbed and make sure. And it was something that, and it's like very few times of like, he didn't have to explain to anybody there. Like, he didn't have to explain to MJ like why he was crying. He just said, no, I'm okay. But us as the audience, we knew that like he lost Gwen. And like the fact that they were true to the comics of what that meant to him, like how he said, like, there's not a day goes by I don't think about it. Like, we forget in the comics that this dude had every night he'll go into the attic of his thing, especially when he was married with Mary Jane in the comics, and he will talk to Gwen Stacy. It's so depressing that he holds that death on his mind that much, where he every single day would talk to her at night in a voice recording. I don't know if you knew that, but that's like,
I know that.
Yeah, the fact that they kind of mentioned that he thinks about it all the time. You're like, damn, that's rough.
Sad. That's super sad.
But
that's depressing.
Any closing thoughts?
I don't know what happens next. I mean, you're the expert in that.
I think that's a good thing. I think I mean, all right. If we're gonna go jump into Star Wars, The Last Jedi is my second favorite solo Star Wars movie ever made. This is very controversial. If anyone's watching and they want to comment on this, and they're gonna say like, yeah, they're likely gonna say I'm crazy and I don't talk about. I'm a massive Star Wars fan. I love The Last Jedi. I love it for different reasons, and it's fine if you don't like it. But that movie ended off with a clean slate for the next movie to tie everything up, close everything out, and JJ didn't do that, and it was a mess. Obviously, the MCU here, Marvel Studios and Sony recently, are pretty competent not to mess up clean slates. So the fact that he has a brand new suit, he has MJ and Ned are not in the picture no more.
Everything's new.
His connection to the Avengers is now disconnected. At most, they know him as someone who's helped. They don't know his identity. Like, it's going back to being anonymous, and that's kind of refreshing, especially in the MCU where everyone's identity is known. It's really crazy that that's like such a refreshing quality. Also, the main threat, I think what helps this movie so much is that a lot with these Spider-Man movies, the threat isn't world ending. The threat is very much small. Even though for Spider-Man, all these villains coming in is not a small task at all. It's probably detrimental to the city, but at the same time, it feels like a isolated single problem. Like, you know, with certain things in the MCU, certain things happening, you're like, why didn't Captain America show up? Or why didn't Iron Man show up? You don't feel like that needed to happen here because it was a Spider-Man problem. And they do a really good job in this movie keeping it a Spider-Man problem. But yeah, in terms of where it's going to go, I have no idea. That's the most exciting part. I'm sure we're going to meet Harry Osborn. I'm sure we're going to meet I hope Gwen Stacy. I think that would be interesting that they go forward and, like, you know, maybe she doesn't die. Maybe she stays and we get the one universe where Gwen Stacy and Peter Parker are a thing. And she doesn't lose her life. Like, that will be some great stuff. Maybe she becomes Spider-Gwen. I don't know. But, like, it's very intriguing. I'm super excited to see that there was a closing thing. And the only thing we know for sure is that the Venom symbiote at some point is going to make contact with him. Yeah. Either it's going to be with Eddie versus him, or it's going to be him with the black suit, things like that. And as long as they don't do a Spider-Man 3 and try to tie in his redemption with the suit and his power and stuff, that should be a movie itself. And then obviously we'll see later, but I'm curious, are we going to see a Spider-Man movie in 3 years, in 2 years? I don't know. I mean, I hope so. They can they turned around the movie pretty quickly with Far From Home and No Way Home. So
dude, we're gonna be like 40 when this whole thing ends with Tom Holland.
I mean, me and Tom Holland are like, he's 25, I'm 24, you're 25. Like, we're all there. I'm with it.
Damn, man, we're getting old with him.
Yeah,
that's insane.
Yeah, we are.
Insane. I mean, it was cool to, you know, to see the way they ended it off, man. It was bittersweet. I mean, it's sweet because it's a new beginning, but it's bitter because he had everything.
The movie, as much as I enjoy this movie, it's kind of crazy I enjoyed so much with such an emotional impact that it had. Like, this was not a light film at all. It was hilarious, but it was not light.
It's like, if it's real, it feels real. I was like, damn, it's a movie and I'm attached to it. It's a freaking movie. Like, I'm watching it, you know, I have Avengers on, like I'm watching all the old movies because it's just like, damn, like I'm attached to it. I am attached to it.
Now, what do you think he's going to be appearing in, though? Because we know he's still slated for an MCU appearance.
Look, I think he is part of the Young Avengers. Supposedly that's a rumor that's what's supposed to happen. I think Spider-Man
Well,
is in the
all
Young
right.
Avengers.
So they got. I don't know how old Yelena is in this thing, but we can consider her a young Avenger. You got Kate Bishop, who I love the actress Haley Stanfield. She's a great actress. Obviously Tom Holland, Spider-Man. You know, there you go.
Yeah.
She-Hulk. You'll forget about She-Hulk. We have
Looking at
that.
it right now, actually.
I think didn't Captain Marvel get thrown into the Young Avengers a little bit or no? I'm not sure. I don't think
a comic.
I don't think in this universe she's young by no means because she was like from like the 70s and stuff. But
who's there? The X-Men. The X-Men.
The X-Men. Oh, my theory of the X-Men showing up didn't happen, but I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. I would love to. I would love to throw out the most craziest thing. Oh, so this is a little bit thing, and this goes a major question. This is kind of leading in. This is kind of related to this because the leak to this was tied to it. Now, I have not seen this picture because the person has not showcased this picture to anybody. John Campea, who I follow from Movie News, great guy, he got sent a leaked picture from somebody who showed him some other stuff that we've seen that was actually in the movie, and it showed a dude in a mocap suit. He said that when we see this person back, or this person appear, we're gonna lose it because we're not even gonna guess who it is. That's how crazy it is. So it's someone we're familiar with. We've known who is who. Again, I have no idea who it is, but they were in a mocap suit, so that can mean anything.
We can't see it. The pictures are nowhere to be found.
No, but he said one of the things is that he was shocked he didn't see was that picture. So this person's credibility is there because they showcased stuff that was in the movie. But I'm thinking this is some wild shit, and I'm fucking sending this. I think we saw Nicolas Cage as Ghost Rider.
Ghost Rider?
I absolutely think we did. Now, the caveat to that is that Nicolas Cage isn't really a good standing dude outside of Hollywood. He has a lot of shit, and I don't know if Disney wants to associate himself with that. But if it isn't Nicolas Cage, it's easily going to be Keanu Reeves. It's easily going to be Keanu Reeves. I'm taking an assumption of what the picture was. It could be an existing character we've seen from another movie. For all we know, it could have been Deadpool. You know what I'm saying?
If anyone could be a good Ghost Rider, Keanu Reeves.
It could be Keanu Reeves, yes. But again, there was something that was thought to be in this movie. I don't know what it was, but he said it's crazy, it's exciting, but it wasn't in this movie. And again, he hasn't shown the picture. I don't think he's ever going to show the picture. He's just relating some stuff, but he's not probably bloating at all. He's not lying at all. Like, I'm telling you, I don't know. This movie is a prime example of why the MCU is in touch with what they're doing. It is absolutely astounding that they made this movie. It worked. And at the same time, it's probably one of their best solo movies, if not the best solo movie they've ever done.
Oh, dude.
And it even competes with Avengers. Like it
competes with
my pure excitement of this, and it's funny. I gotta see this movie again to see really where it stands. But I've always floated about Man of Steel being my favorite superhero movie, The Dark Knight being my second favorite superhero movie, The Watchmen being my third favorite superhero movie. These are all DC movies. Not a single MCU movie's on there. Not even Spider-Man 2's on there. I'll tell you this right now. After Wednesday, I just have to reassure that I really feel this way. This is my favorite superhero movie of all time. It beat Man of Steel. And Man of Steel for me, man, is a different experience. Like, I hear the dun dun, and I'm just like, I want to fly. I want to cry. Like, it's like Henry Cavill's Man of Steel is something else. So, the fact that this movie did that for me, massive impression, massive shock. I cannot believe I saw that movie. I still can't believe I went into an IMAX theater at 10:35 p.m. and saw that movie. This is the one movie where I had to take a piss an hour in, and I firmly held it with no budge. I've never done that before. Usually I'll pick a good like little quiet thing, and I'll go in and, you know, my buddies will tell me what happened, and I rarely step out the movie theater anyway, so it just tells you how bad I had to go. But I held it in, no problem. Even my body and my bladder says, "You're good, homie. We got you." We're making a little bit extra room today.
I went at 11 a.m. and it was jam packed. So I never thought I would witness something like that. I saw people dressed up as Spider-Man.
I had my
Cool.
I had my Spider-Man thing, and one of the funniest things was like, "Yo, you look like a Spanish version of Tom Holland." I'm like, "Bro, chill. What the fuck?" I was like, "All right, dude, don't gas me up like that. Fuck around, go act an actress out or some shit like that."
Should cosplay as it. Who knows what happens? I mean, I saw a little bit of everything. I mean, it was an event. This was an event.
It wasn't a movie. It was an event.
Yeah, it was an event. This is. Man,
this is the Avengers 2012 moment. This is the Avengers Infinity War and Endgame moment. This is Spider-Man No Way Home moment. This is the Empire Strikes Back that we've never experienced because we're younger. Like, that apparently was crazy. Like, The Force Awakens was an event as well, but I wouldn't say it was as big an event as Infinity War and Endgame and the 2012 Avengers. Like, those three movies for the MCU were an event. But yeah, a movie like this, it made what, $50 million opening Thursday, which could be a little bit of a downer because Avengers made 60. So it is, or like, yeah, it was like, I forget the exact numbers, but I'm actually curious to see where this lands. I'm putting it, I think it's gonna make 270.
All right, is this off?
The official numbers will come out at the end of Sunday, something like that.
Okay.
Or like Monday in the morning, we'll see the box office.
I'm seeing $1 billion, and then Endgame was 2.7 billion.
No, I don't think it's gonna make more like grossing than Endgame, because Endgame opened in the Chinese market, and it was just the pandemic era. No pandemic era. It was something different. But I do think that when it comes to short term,
by the way, that's Far From Home. Far From Home had $1 billion.
Yeah, Far From Home is the only Spider-Man movie to make $1 billion. This, I think, is going to make $1 billion, no question about it. Even without the Chinese market, even without all this other stuff, even in a pandemic era, like, people are wanting to see this. Like, people I know who hasn't been to the movie since this pandemic started are going back to the movie theaters just to watch this movie. I know you haven't been to movies. You don't really go that often. The last movie you've been to was what?
I saw Venom.
Venom, right? Yeah.
And the last one before that was like 2019. So.
Yeah, like. Well, and that was what, Endgame? Or you never seen Endgame in theaters?
I never saw Endgame because that's when I was gone. That's when I was playing in the spring. I didn't go. Everyone Endgame came out, so
yeah. And I never thought, so my personal theater experience, I never thought I'd hear a louder roar than what I heard when Captain America held the Thor's hammer. I'm not gonna pronounce it, even though it's what, Mjolnir? Mjolnir or something like that. The hammer, whatever the actual name is, I can't pronounce it.
It's made in Neverdelly or something. I know where it's made.
It's made in Neverdelly, but like, it's like called Mjolnir or whatever, something like that. Like, when Cap held it, he threw it and then he pulled it in, he caught it. Like, that was a roar. When Andrew came in, when Toby came in, when Green Goblin came in, when Doc Ock came in, even when Electro came in, I'm a little upset that we cheered for Electro, because I heard the glimpse of his theme and I was like, shut the fuck up, everybody. I want to hear this on the fucking speakers. Dun dun. You're like, oh shit. No, like, shut the fuck up, people. Not for this one. Like, Toby and Andrew, like, people cheered when they unified and they were swinging together and they landed together. Oh, I'm surprised we never talked about the fucking hug that they did. That was sad. Like, I was like, fuck. This is happening. They all hugged each other. Oh, and then, like, you don't understand how hard that scene was. MJ and Ned saying bye to who they know, Peter Parker. That hurt. That hurt.
The whole ending hurt. That hurt big time. I mean, we'll see him walk into the shop, the cafe, whatever you want to call it, coffee shop. Obviously, that hurt.
But obviously there's different circumstances, and obviously we're not superheroes and we're not trying to protect our friends, but it kind of reminds you of that emotion of, like, you with a friend you just don't talk to anymore. That you guys at one point were just really close, and you just think about that. And I was thinking about that moment, like, some people I haven't talked to in a few years, that they were extremely close to me, and, like, we just don't talk anymore. And it's like kind of one of those things that it was like in this movie, it was a protection thing, but in an emotional sense, it was a growing up thing that happened. He had to move on from his friends.
With great power comes great responsibility, and the responsibility here was but that was a big decision he made.
How do you feel
man.
about May being the Uncle Ben of the Spider-Man?
Perfectly fine with it. It hurts because she had so many great scenes in the past, and she was always an enlightening person, and she was. There's a lot tied into Aunt May, right? She ran feast. She was helping people. She was a great person. She's the one that gave him the idea to save these people.
Yeah,
she gave him the idea.
She was his moral compass of why. And what was so nice was that Toby saved that for him. Saved that moral compass for him when he jumped in front of Glaber and catched it. He didn't say anything, right? He just looked at him. I don't recall if he said anything. I don't think he did, which makes the scene even crazier. Like him just looking at him.
Yeah, he got stabbed, and then that's where Then they got Green Goblin, got the cure. Aunt May, I think this is the biggest impact I've seen. Like Uncle Ben was big. I think first Uncle Ben was a big deal, I guess. But Aunt May she stole it. She stole it there. I wasn't expecting that.
And the death scene was the death, man. Like you could have said, like, even though I predicted it and I kind of thought it was coming, and it did happen. It happened actually much sooner than I thought it would. But at the same time, like when that whole thing was going on, and you're like, that happened. You're like, damn, yo. Like shit. And like they gave you that false hope for just one split moment where you're like, oh, maybe she's okay, and then she falls down, and you're like, oh shit, she's not. And then when Peter reaches behind and sees all that blood, you're like, oh, she's gonna die.
But this is the first time we've seen Peter Parker, Tom Holland's Spider-Man, witness trauma, and that hurts too.
You know what sucks about that? And I kind of feel like it wasn't blatantly obvious, but he was never allowed to mourn.
No, it wasn't.
He got shot at when he was trying to, like the SWAT dude shot at him, and he got hit with a bullet. And like he wasn't allowed to mourn. That makes me wonder, was he even able to go to the funeral for Aunt May? Was there even a funeral?
There was.
No, there was a funeral, but who was there?
Happy.
I don't think he would have showed up. I don't think he felt like he could have showed up. But that's the thing, like who? Because we don't see any of his parents. Obviously aren't around. We don't know. Maybe they revisit that. Hopefully they do. Obviously Uncle Ben's not there. Aunt May was the only thing he had. Who did Aunt May have? Like that really makes you a sad question of like, damn, he wasn't allowed to mourn for her. It makes the death even harder. Is that like she died right there, and he had to leave. He couldn't bring her body anywhere. He had to leave.
It's painful, man. It was very sad.
And Green Goblin targeted this Peter Parker. He knew that this was his moral compass. This was holding him back.
Fucking Green Goblin, man. What an asshole.
Part of me was upset part of me was like, damn, this dude should really die though. But
I was what it was. Die, actually. When he threw what's it called? The pumpkin bomb? Is that what they're called?
Yeah, what a great scene of him leaving and laughing with destroying the cars. Like, you didn't need to blow it up, but you're like, you know what? It was cool.
It was, oh my God. Oh, man.
One thing I did like was that J. Jonah Jameson's got the Alex Jones treatment. I'm like, you know what? You can call J. Jonah Jameson's a Alex Jones type person.
MCU? Oh.
Yeah. It just fits. They're just both nut jobs. You're like, you know what?
That scene, I love it. Like, is that a dinosaur? You see Lizard wait. Why did Lizard wait in the car? What was the significance?
He didn't want to get out. Waiting? He just didn't want to get out.
Why?
I don't know. I just didn't.
You think he knew something was going to go down? I mean, remember Lizard have heightened awareness, or
maybe he was just trying to apply his own escape, and the moment was right.
That's probably what it was.
But
probably what it was. I mean,
maybe him and Goblin already talked before. Maybe he knew what's up. Maybe he was supposed to stop Peter from leaving or chasing after them.
I found it cool with his interaction with Electro when they were trapped. There's a lot of cool things that we witnessed in this film.
It was fan service, but it was done right. And it was a great movie on top of it. But yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure we can talk about this movie for hours.
Oh no, I could never stop. I mean, I just hope we talked about a lot of things. I mean,
I don't
I
know
didn't
if we
want,
missed anything. I don't know if we missed anything. Like, you think about it, like Matt Murdock covered that, covered Norman, covered Dr. Octavius, we covered Electro, Sandman, Lizard, Aunt May's death, Andrew and Toby coming in, conversation, the science, the web's organic stuff.
Venom, he did
the Venom post-credit scene. You even talked about Doctor Strange a little bit.
Yeah.
Which was a little unfortunate that I seen the trailer before, but at the same time I enjoyed it.
Is it that big of a deal? Is it that big of a deal?
I just didn't know that that's the second post-credit scene was going to be a Doctor Strange trailer. I personally just did not know. I just thought it was like a leaked trailer. It's going to air soon. It was actually because I saw it in a movie theater. It looked like it was in a movie theater. What was weird was that the seats were empty, so it's kind of like, oh, this is probably like a preview for a movie coming up. I was like, okay, cool. But it was like the post-credit scene. I'm like, man, I'm kind of upset that I didn't have that shock factor that some people may have had. I didn't know.
I don't know what I was. I don't know what I was. Boss Logic, you know who that is? He's the one. He put like stay for the second. He put please for God's sake stay for the second post-credit scene. So I was like, okay. I thought it was gonna be something else. It's a trailer. Maybe it's just me.
I mean, it was a dope trailer. I mean, if anyone's seen What If, apparently that this is major implications, which is cool to see that show connecting, even though they kind of said it wasn't. So, if it is connected to What If, I think that gives me a reason to watch it now. I didn't really care for it because for the fact that it apparently wasn't connected, but now it does feel connected. What was weird about that trailer was that Wanda knew about the multiverse, so it makes you question. And the reason why I mentioned Ghost Rider potentially being in it, the mocap, and Keanu Reeves, is that Wanda has the Darkhold. Do you know what the Darkhold is? It's a book from hell and stuff like that. Now, one of the people that keeps those things in check is Ghost Rider. Ghost Rider does go at it with Nightmare, who is apparently one of the main villains for this movie. Does go at it with Mephisto. Does go at it with the Darkhold and stuff like that. So it is a perfect realm of possibility that we see Ghost Rider. It's even possible, I'm throwing this out there, it's even possible that we see Blade finally. Like physically see Blade.
Right? Isn't that confirmed?
We've
Mahershala Ali or whatever.
He's gonna be Blade, but it was only announced for a movie. They're doing a movie.
Oh, you think we're gonna get him in Doctor Strange?
I think it's entirely possible that we get him potentially as his live action version. We've only heard his voice at the end of Eternals. Spoilers. Well, I mean, if you didn't see Eternals, it's on. I'm sorry. I just blabbed that out there. But yes, he's in one of the post-credit scenes for Eternal and Moon Knight in Black Knight. Like he's there. He tells the guy like, "Sure, you want to do this?" And it's like, "Oh shit." So it's entirely possible we see Blade. I think if anything, Ghost Rider's the safest bet to be introduced. I think that's a character I will love. If I would tell you my 3 favorite superheroes, it's in this order: Spider-Man, Ghost Rider, and Daredevil. And 2 of them are now in the MCU. So hopefully we get Ghost Rider, and I'll be a very happy audience member.
If they get Keanu Reeves to play Ghost Rider, they're going to make a lot of money just by announcing him.
It'll be a massive selling point, and I think it'll work. Now, the only problem I have with it is that we're just not casting him because he's Keanu Reeves. And I even know that Feige and Keanu have talked about how they don't want to do it just to do it. They want to do it for the right reason. So have you seen Constantine? Yeah. The thing too about it, why Ghost Rider fits Keanu, is that Keanu actually does have his own motorbike company, and and Ghost Rider, at least the Johnny Blaze version, is a bike person. So I'm sure that maybe they'll do like one of his bikes to make a low rider and stuff like that. And there's a reason Keanu's a bike guy. Johnny Blaze is a bike guy. It makes sense. So,
dude, this video came out in 2020. It's talking about. Did you know about this? Keanu Reeves possibly being Ghost Rider in Doctor Strange 2. Well, they call it Doctor Strange 2.
Yeah, I've seen that stuff. That's why I said like maybe it was Nicolas Cage coming back as Ghost Rider, but at the same time I mentioned he is, he'll get married in Vegas and then divorce in Vegas same day. So he's a very unsettling dude, even though I love Nicolas Cage. So again, I think,
dude,
Yeah, no, it's been talked about. I'm not throwing this out, no, but I really do think that mocap that John Campy was talking about is connected to Doctor Strange, and I think it's going to be Keanu Reeves. If I had to take a bet of what it was, I can't see a returning character from any other property from the Marvel in the past that's mocap that wouldn't blow our minds. All the X-Men are practical, unless it's Hugh Jackman. They're putting mocap to make him look muscular.
I see Jack Guy himself. I hope we see him again. He's part of my childhood too. I hope we see him. That's a rabbit hole we could get into.
Yeah, but
rabbit hole. The Matrix.
This movie opened up the doors for literally anything to this point to be possible. You thought Hawkeye was doing it. You thought WandaVision was doing it. You thought Loki was doing it. No, Spider-Man: No Way Home just made it loud and clear that anything that can happen will happen in some capacity, whether it's this universe or some other multiverse in real life. Something's going on. So again,
we're gonna get
I'm speechless on this movie. This movie was absolutely incredible. I loved every bit of it. Yeah, go watch it. If you can watch it in IMAX, watch it in IMAX. Watch it in Dolby. I really would say watch it at least once in a premium format. Not knocking digital, but there's just something about that clear laser projection with Dolby audio or IMAX audio. It just hits different. And if you guys want to see some extra fucking frames, extra screen, like some extra stuff in the frame of the movie, watch an IMAX, because I didn't know that Captain America and Thor were actually at the will reading of Tony Stark. I'm still not over that. Like, I was watching the IMAX version of it on Disney Plus, and I was like, wait, Tony Stark and Thor were in this will reading? This changes everything, and that's the reason why I don't know that, is that I saw it in Dolby, and Dolby doesn't have the extra screen size. So yeah, maybe there's something in this movie that you maybe missed that you didn't know you missed. So, but
take it out, guys. Watch it. You'll enjoy it. Trust. One of the best movies ever.
Yes.
So hope you guys enjoyed our long conversation of everything in this movie. But it's just you can literally talk about this movie for like 24 hours straight.
For sure.
You could talk,
no question.
Every hour you could talk about something. And so yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, man. Long one. We're just starting off. So hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like, comment, and sub. Real reviews, man. Shadow Ninja, JC, Fitness Gamers, man. Hope you guys enjoyed. Once again, leave a like, comment, and sub. And we're tuning off now, Kyle. Shadow Ninja, anything to say? Yeah.
Go watch Spider-Man. It's crazy. It's crazy.